Okay, picture this. You walk into a room and you see a chair that is gigantic. Like you need a ladder to climb up to even sit in it. It makes you feel tiny, maybe vulnerable. And now let's flip that. Imagine seeing the world's tiniest chair, something that looks like doll furniture. Suddenly, it feels like a toy and not something to take seriously. That right there, that's scale. It's not about just making things bigger or smaller. It's about how size affects our psychology. In graphic design, scale tells us what is important. It sets the mood and it shapes how people interact with your work. Today, we are going deep into the psychology of scale in graphic design, and I will show you practical ways that you could use it to grab people's attention, create hierarchy, and make your design impossible to ignore. Trust me, once you get this, you will never look at a poster, a website, or a logo the same way again. Okay, but let's start with the basics. Scale is simply the relative size of elements within a composition. Notice how I said relative. Because scale, it's not just about whether something is objectively big or small. It's about how those sizes relate to everything else within the same design. Scale is often confused with proportion. The difference is proportion is about the relationship of parts within one single object. For example, let's say that you're looking at a face and their eyes are too big for their head, whereas scale is about comparing one element to another. An example of this is a headline versus body text. So when you are working with design, scale is one of the first tools to guide the viewer's eye. A giant element, it screams like, look here first. Where a smaller element, it kind of whispers, it's like, hey, I'm here too. But here's where it gets interesting. Scale isn't just a design trick. It plays with our brain in a way that we often don't realize. For example, number one, attention and focus. The human brain is wired to notice the unusual. So if everything on a page is all the same size, then nothing stands out. But if one of those elements breaks the mold and gets bigger, it hijacks your attention. You could think of it like being at a crowded party. If someone's suddenly shouting, then you turn your head. And when it comes to design, big scale shouts. Number two, it affects your emotion and your mood. Large scale, it creates a sense of power, dominance, and intimidation. Imagine a giant billboard looming over the street. It doesn't just inform you, it almost controls your environment. On the flip side, smaller scale creates a feeling of intimacy, delicacy, or vulnerability. And luxury brands really lean into this. Think about a perfume bottle, for instance, where the type, it's so small that it feels like it's whispering at you, telling you a little secret for only you two to know. And number three, it affects our perception. This one is very basic, but also so powerful. We automatically associate size with importance. Bigger, more important. Smaller, less important. That is why in apps, the main action button is often bigger than anything else. You don't have to think about it, you just know where to click. And number four, there's a human factor to it. We also tend to compare the size of our own bodies. If someone is larger than life, it feels more monumental. And if someone's smaller than us, like let's say a little kid, they feel more playful. That is why billboards, sculptures, or even huge displays work so well. They are absolutely impossible to ignore because they throw your sense of normal scale out the window. Okay, so now that we know the psychology behind scale, let's talk about how to use it in a practical way in your design work. Number one, visual hierarchy. This is probably the number one way to use scale. Headers are larger than subheadings, which are larger than body text. On a poster, a band name is usually huge, where the date and time, they tend to be smaller. And the fine print, it's even smaller than that. Scale is literally the way that we teach the audience how to read a poster. Number two, contrast and impact. Here's a pro tip. Don't just make things slightly bigger. Always really exaggerate it. Make it dramatically larger for huge impact. You could think about Apple product ads. It's always like a giant close-up of an iPhone, and then they pair it with tiny, elegant text. The contrasts in the ads make it feel more premium. Number three, brand recognition. Scale also matters in branding. A good logo needs to work on a massive billboard, and it also needs to function on a tiny app icon. If your design only works when it's huge, then it's not versatile enough. A practical exercise that you could do is shrink your logo down like 16 pixels. If it is still recognizable, then you're golden. Number 4, spatial illusion and depth. Designers also use scale to create the illusion of depth. Large elements tell you that it's in the foreground, while smaller elements look like they're in the background. And suddenly, a flat design feels like it's in the three-dimensional world. Posters, book covers, even websites use this. It is a way for us to create dynamic designs. Storytelling through scale. Scale is also very symbolic. Oversized elements can feel larger than life, like for instance a political poster with a giant fist taking over the frame. And undersized elements can make something feel small, fragile, and undermined. One of my favorite examples of this is anti-smoking campaigns. They always show a cigarette that's at giant scale, and it's towering over the person. Instantly, you feel the imbalance of power. Okay, so let's talk about a few common mistakes. Making everything the same size. If everything shouts, then nothing gets heard. Mistake number 2, not enough contrast. If the headline is just a little bit bigger than the text beneath it, boring. You gotta push it further. Mistake number 3, forgetting functionality. If your text is so small that no one could read it, then you've lost the point. It needs to be legible, even from far away. Websites need scalable text for functionality. This actually reminds me of when I was in 2nd grade. I went through this phase where I was writing things minuscule. I ended up getting scolded by the teacher because she couldn't read my paragraphs. But anyway, here's a couple exercises that you can do to master scale. The exaggeration game. Take your layout and make one element 5 times bigger, and then make another one 5 times smaller. See how it changes the tone. Number 2, hierarchy redesign. Take a magazine ad and redesign it and make the headline much bigger. And then make one of the call to actions a bit bolder. And then maybe you could even play around with some background elements and make those a little smaller. Number 3, the distance test. Print out your design and tape it to a wall. Step back like 10 feet. What do you notice first? And if it's not the thing that you want people to see first, then change your scale. Okay, guys. So the next time that you are designing, don't just think about color, shape, and text. Think about the scale. Ask yourself, what do you want the audience to notice first? What emotion am I trying to trigger? Do I want it to whisper or do I want it to shout? Scale is one of the simplest tools in design, but it is also one of the most powerful because it functions on a psychological level. Use it well and your designs will not just look good. They will speak directly to your audience's mind. Okay guys, thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Shout out to the commenter who gave me this idea. And hit like if you like this video and subscribe for more content just like this because I put videos out every single week. I will see you next time. Bye bye.